Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about another huge piece of Tesla news. Whenever we get some big news release for Tesla, I always like to keep you all updated on the channel with that news. So in this video, we have pretty much nothing different. This time around, we're going to be talking about EV sales worldwide. So in the past, I believe we talked about how the Tesla Model 3 was the top selling car, not just EV car in California, but just the top selling car overall in California. And then we also recently got news about the Model 3 being the top selling EV in the UK. And over time this year, we have especially been seeing a lot of sales increases for the Model 3. And then of course the Model Y is expected to be huge as well for this year. So with this, we're going to be talking about worldwide EV sales. And as always, if you all do appreciate the Tesla content, then please make sure to smash that like button. It really does help me out and I definitely appreciate it. And before we jump into this news piece, let's go ahead and check out how Tesla stock is doing today. And so far, it's not looking too hot for today. In my opinion, this is just presenting itself a pretty decent opportunity right now under this $1,500 mark at $1,433. And as you can see so far, we have a minus 3.62% loss for today. And as I always like to say on this channel, I look at the red days as opportunities as long as we're looking at stocks that we think will perform well over time in the long term. And I think Tesla is definitely one of those stocks that will only do better as time goes on. So I do think that this is a solid opportunity to get into the stock right now. If you are considering it, yes, it could go down in the future, but yes, it also could go up much more in the future as well. So that's just the thing with stocks and the stock market. You never really know where it will be going in the future, but it's a lot easier to predict where a stock will go in the long term than in the short term. And I believe that Tesla will perform very well in the long term. So even given the fact that today is down significantly for Tesla, near 3.5%, I just look at that as an opportunity for those that have cash on the sidelines. And unfortunately, I don't right now. I still have to pay off this credit card bill, but once that is done with, then I'll have money to start putting into some stocks from then on. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this news piece for today. We have an article by Teslarati, and I think this website may be owned by Vincent. He's popular on Twitter, known for just being involved in the Tesla community. Now, I don't know that 100%, but I believe he's somehow associated with this website. So as always, thank you to Teslarati, Vincent, and of course the author, Joey Klinder, for providing us with this information. But as you can see, this article states, Tesla Model 3 dominates global EV sales for June as Model Y joins top 20. So we have a few different factors playing their role right now, not only just the Model 3, but the Model Y as well. So this information is huge in my opinion, and let's go ahead and check out what they have to say in this article. And so he starts off by stating, the Tesla Model 3 maintained the top spot on the global 20 electric vehicle sales list in June, while the Model Y joined the list for the first time. The Model 3 has remained the most popular electric vehicle for all of 2020, maintaining more than 15% of the total market share of battery-powered cars sold globally. With 35,854 units sold in June, Tesla's most affordable vehicle outsold the second-place car, the Renault Zoe, by a considerable margin, selling more than 3 times the unit of the French-based automaker's most popular EV. Now, it does mention the Renault Zoe right here. I believe it's Zoe, not Zoe. I think the E has a weird pronunciation at the end, but this is actually very popular in the EV market in Europe. And I looked this up just because I had never heard of this vehicle before until today, but it definitely seems like one of the more popular options in Europe. And I believe they have a compact car as well. And also I think their top mileage on their highest, most expensive vehicle, at least with a compact car, I think was 250 miles. So at least Tesla does have that advantage in mileage right now. And I believe that with the Berlin Gigafactory eventually going to be constructed, and of course providing Germans and other Europeans access to Tesla vehicles, much easier access, then I think that will help out a lot more with the Tesla sales in Europe. So what really matters here is that the Tesla Model 3 is the #1 highest selling vehicle in the world. We're not just talking about California, we're not just talking about Europe, we're not just talking about China. This is totally a global, worldwide statistic right here. So #1 for the Model 3. And the other good thing is that the Model 3 is beating the Renault Zoe significantly. The Model 3 is almost 4 times the percentage of the second highest selling EV in the world. So Tesla Model 3 has a huge advantage right now. And as long as Tesla can keep being more efficient with the cost margins and maybe keep on lowering the prices in the future for the Model 3 while also improving the battery and other software and features, then I think that could help gather even more of that percentage of the worldwide market and keep some of these other competition cars on the sidelines at bay. So as long as Tesla can keep on providing these improvements that they discuss with, improving profit margins, manufacturing efficiency, battery efficiency with that declining cost curve, and then just many other factors as well as they develop the full self-driving software, then it can start to give the Model 3 an even larger advantage as it becomes even more affordable over time. And that's hopefully what's going to happen with the Model 3. And out of pure curiosity, we can take a look at the other competition. Like I said, we have the Renault Zoe for number 2, which takes up 4% of the sales. Then we have the Nissan Leaf that takes up 3%. And then after that, it's pretty much 2% and then 1%. But just a few examples: VW e-Golf, BYD Chin Pro EV, BMW, Hyundai Kona, Mitsubishi Outlander, Audi e-tron, and stuff like that. So a lot of these names are EVs that I'm not even really familiar with, and especially to consider this one as well, we have decent sales for the Model X. It only takes up like 1% of the sales so far, so not crazy for the Model X, but really that's a more niche type of vehicle compared to, let's say, like the Model 3 or maybe even the Model Y. And keep in mind that the Model Y has had some constrictions on the manufacturing. We had the issue in the Fremont factory where it got shut down for a while. I believe they also recently discussed shutting down specific parts of the Fremont factory line to help with efficiencies for the Model Y. So there has been some things that has held back production of the Model Y, and I think in the future we can likely see more sales coming out of this one, similar to what we're seeing with the Model 3 currently. But I love to see the Model 3 doing so well, because even though it is kind of in that luxury category, it's still some pretty solid competition against, let's say, the Honda Accord or the Toyota Camry and some of those other ones like that are a little bit cheaper, but the Model 3 is starting to bite into that market share. And as we've seen with California and the UK, it's starting to happen. So these numbers are definitely huge for Tesla, and the fact that the Model 3 is dominating as the #1 spot, that's a really good sign. And it's not like it's close competition right here. The Renault Zoe takes up 4%, and the Model 3 takes up 4 times near what the second place vehicle is taking up in terms of sales. So the Model 3 is really dominating, and I would love to see the Model X get a little bit higher up on that list, and of course the Model Y do the same as well, because the Model Y, I believe a lot of people just call it a larger Model 3. And just going a little bit farther into this article, it states that the Model 3 has sold more than 142,300 units just so far in 2020. So this has only been 2 quarters so far, and we've already seen around 150,000 unit sales for the Model 3. And it also states that the Model 3 has dominated the top 20 list for a pretty decent amount of time, and it says, with the performance specifications of a high-end automobile and the price point of an affordable family sedan, the Model 3 is a perfect fit for any individual or family looking to join the Tesla revolution. And then it also goes on to mention the other models of Tesla in this top 20 list that include the Model X and the Model Y. And as it says right here, deliveries of the Model Y's long-range and performance variants began in March 2020, and then it also sold 7,500 units in June and a total of 12,415 units so far in 2020. And then it also proceeds to talk about how the Tesla Model Y has been one of the most hyped up vehicles to come out recently, and the fact that it was released during the Rona, where we've had some issues with production and stuff like that. So it's definitely a model with some high expectations in terms of people hoping for some high sales numbers. And I think that as we go farther on and more deliveries start to happen, we will likely start to see those higher numbers for the Model Y. And as it says right here, the Model Y is expected to be Tesla's most popular vehicle to date, and the company executives have been vocal about the high expectations they hold for the all-electric crossover. So at least with my opinions, I would think that the Model 3 would be the highest seller. Yes, I get that the Model Y is like a larger version of that. It's more room for a bigger family and stuff like that. But you would think in terms of just how people prefer affordability, you have tons of people that have Toyota Camrys and Honda Accords. So in my mind, I think that the Model 3 would be the most popular, but that also goes along with like the statistic of how like the Ford F-150 is the most sold vehicle in the United States. And that's like one of those statistics statistics that you wouldn't really expect. So I guess that's kind of in that similar area of why people expect the Model Y to be popular, because a lot of customers appreciate a vehicle with some size and some room in it. So that's understandable, but my point is that I think a lot of sales will be seen just out of the Model 3 alone, let alone the potential of the Model Y in the future. And then it mentions right here with the Q4 2019 earnings update that Tesla said, given the opportunity of the SUV vehicle segment, we are planning for Model Y capacity to be at least the equivalent of Model 3 capacity. So that's like with their expectations right there. They believe that demand is going to be similar to what they see with the Model 3. And then additionally, it states that the Tesla Model X also cracked the list in 15th place with 3,599 units sold in June, and that it has been registered 12,461 times this year so far. Now, it does mention right here that the electric vehicle segment did experience a 22% drop in registrations in June, but it also makes the point that given this downfall, June's unit registrations was the third best result in the past 18 months. So it's kind of like eventually you're going to hit a peak spot where eventually there's going to be like a little bit of a downturn in terms of the numbers, but the overall trend is really what it's representing here, with June being the third best result just within the past 18 months. So the general trend is what matters here, even though we did get a little bit of a drop in registrations. And then it also discusses how the automotive market collectively dropped 18% last month as well, and then automotive sales has fallen 28% so far. And I also want to touch on that point right there as well, because that's what a lot of people have been talking about lately, how the automotive sector of the economy has been on a downturn lately, especially because of the Rona. People just don't have the money to buy new vehicles right now. However, yeah, that's the thing. Most companies in that sector, in the automotive business, are on a downturn right now. But one of the few shining lights of hope right now is Tesla, where it's beating expectations, it's making profit, and the overall business for this company itself is looking very positive in contrast to the general market that it is in, which is the automotive market. And that's really where a lot of the value is represented in Tesla, because they're not just an automaker, they're obviously focused on renewable energy with battery supply, solar panels, and vehicles as well, but they make plenty of other products. They've developed teams just for software only, creating computer chips for the full self-driving computer. So Tesla is definitely not just an automaker, and that's why they're able to improve on manufacturing and also come up with these different solutions to make their manufacturing more efficient, and that's really where they have an advantage in the market. For one thing, they were the head of a whole new category of the market, which the vehicle market will eventually transition to EVs only, in my opinion, where maybe a few muscle cars or sports cars will still be popular in the future, but eventually I think the majority of people that have vehicles will transition from ICE vehicles to electric vehicles. So Tesla is really at the forefront of this right now. They're making profits, they're looking really good in terms of revenue and progress for the upcoming future, while the rest of the market, including some EV companies as well, are really struggling right now. So not only does Tesla have little competition, but the majority of automakers are struggling right now in contrast to Tesla. So that's just simply another advantage that they have. But anyways, I just wanted to share this video with you all, just let you all know about this piece of news. Of course, thanks to Teslarati and the author for giving us this valuable information. And if you all did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash that like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with my referral link, then you'll get some free stocks. Right now, you can get up to 60 free stocks with Webull, depending on how much you deposit. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.